For centuries, we've looked up at the night sky and dreamed of Mars, an empty world waiting for us to claim it. A second Earth, a fresh start, a place where humanity can thrive long after Earth becomes unlivable. Scientists and visionaries believe that one day, we'll walk on its surface without spacesuits, breathe its air, and build entire cities under the Martian sky. But what if we got it all wrong? What if Mars isn't the answer to our survival, but the beginning of our greatest mistake? Terraforming Mars sounds like the ultimate achievement, the greatest project in human history. But there's a problem, and not many are talking about it. Mars is a frozen and airless wasteland. It has no magnetic field, no breathable air, and a landscape more hostile than the deadliest places on Earth. So why do we believe we can turn it into a paradise? Are we looking forward to building humanity's future? Or are we making a terrible mistake? What if, in our attempt to build a new home, we end up creating our worst nightmare? For as long as we've existed, humanity has been bound to Earth. Every war fought, every empire built, every discovery made, it has all happened here, under the blue sky of our home planet. But what if Earth isn't our final destination? What if our survival depends on leaving it behind? Mars is a barren wasteland of red dust and frozen deserts. And yet, despite its lifeless appearance, some believe it holds the key to our future. And why not? Mars is the closest thing we have to an Earth-like planet. It has seasons, ice caps, and a day just 40 minutes longer than ours. What if we could transform this distant world into a second Earth? And so the idea of terraforming was born, the bold vision of turning a frozen, airless wasteland into an oasis. A planet where humans could live, breathe, and thrive, just like we do on Earth. The first step? Creating an atmosphere. Right now, Mars' atmosphere is 100 times thinner than Earth's, meaning liquid water instantly evaporates and unprotected humans would suffocate in seconds. But if we could melt the frozen carbon dioxide at Mars' poles, it could trigger a greenhouse effect, warming the planet and thickening the air. And what about water? Well, we already know Mars has ice beneath its surface. If we could somehow release that water, we could create lakes, rivers, maybe even oceans. If successful, Mars could transform from a frozen wasteland into a planet where crops could grow, where people could breathe without suits, where humanity could thrive. Imagine waking up to the sight of two suns, one in the sky, the other reflected off Mars' thin atmosphere. Imagine vast cities under protective domes, hydroponic farms growing food, and a new chapter in human civilization unfolding. Companies like SpaceX, NASA, and other private space agencies have set their sights on making this dream a reality. Some believe we could establish the first human colony within our lifetime. If we succeed, Mars could become more than just a place to visit. It could become the first human civilization beyond Earth. A planet of new cities, new industries, and a fresh start for humanity. A place to escape from war, pollution, and overpopulation. A second Earth built from scratch. It sounds like the greatest achievement in human history. But what if it goes wrong? What if Mars isn't the paradise we imagine, but a prison we can never escape? Mars is not Earth, and no matter how much we try to change it, Mars will fight back. The process of terraforming a planet is far from simple. In fact, it might be the most dangerous experiment humanity has ever attempted. A task so enormous, it would take centuries, or even longer. The first danger is the radiation on Mars. Unlike Earth, Mars has no magnetic field to protect it from cosmic radiation. Every second spent on the surface increases the risk of cancer, organ damage, and DNA mutations. Exposure to radiation is 100 times higher on Mars than on Earth. So, what's the only way to survive long-term? Humans might have to live underground, inside natural lava tubes, trading the dream of a thriving city for a life spent in isolation beneath the Martian surface. Even if we build underground shelters, long-term exposure could weaken the human body. Over generations, it could even change what it means to be human. If we don't solve this problem, Mars won't be a second Earth. It will be a slow and painful death sentence. The second danger is the deadly atmosphere of Mars. Even if we terraform Mars, its atmosphere will never be like Earth's. The oxygen levels would take centuries to reach breathable conditions. And without constant maintenance, A single failure could mean suffocation. Even if we could engineer an atmosphere, there's no guarantee it would last. Mars lost its atmosphere once. What's stopping it from happening again? Mars isn't just cold. It's unpredictable. On Earth, a hurricane lasts a few weeks, while on Mars, a dust storm can last 6 months, covering the entire planet in darkness, cutting off solar power, and burying entire colonies. The temperatures can drop to -80 degrees Celsius, and without power, nothing survives. In 2018, NASA's Opportunity rover was lost to a dust storm. If an unmanned rover couldn't survive, what happens when an entire human colony faces a planet-wide blackout? Mars has only 38% of Earth's gravity. At first, this might seem like an advantage, lighter steps, easier movement. But over time, it could destroy the human body. Our muscles and bones weaken over time. Heart pumps less effectively in low gravity, leading to circulatory issues. Instead of creating a second Earth, we might end up literally being a new species of humans, forever trapped on Mars. Even if we could terraform Mars, there's no guarantee it would work the way we expect. By trying to fix Mars, we might destroy it before we ever get the chance to live there. So, should we even do this? If we terraform Mars, we won't just be explorers. We will be gods, shaping a world to fit our needs. But should we? Is it our right to change an entire planet? And perhaps the biggest question of all, should we even be trying? What if Mars was never meant to be our second Earth? What if we turn out to be the destroyer of worlds rather than the harbinger of life? Mars may be lifeless, but that doesn't mean it's immune to disaster. History has shown us that whenever humanity tries to reshape nature, there are always consequences, some we never see coming. We've already changed one planet. What happens when we do the same to Mars? Mars' atmosphere is fragile. Too much warming could make it spiral out of control. Runaway greenhouse effect could turn Mars into a scorching wasteland, just like Venus, our other neighbor. Once the process begins, stopping it could be impossible. On Earth, we struggle to control our own climate. So, what makes us think we can successfully control Mars? Unlike Earth, Mars doesn't have tectonic plates. But scientists have detected seismic activity, Marsquakes, deep beneath the surface. Melting ice caps could shift underground pressures, triggering violent quakes. And unstable ground could cause entire cities to collapse. Also, some of Mars' ancient volcanoes may not be completely dead. These Marsquakes can reawaken Mars' massive volcanoes, like Olympus Mons. If Mars geology is more active than we think, we might be walking into a planetary time bomb. The idea of making Mars our new home is thrilling, but in our rush to claim the red planet, we may be repeating the mistakes of our past. We thought we could control Earth's environment, and now we face climate disasters. Are we about to do the same on Mars? Mars has been dead for billions of years, or at least, that's what we believe. But recent discoveries hint at a different story. On Earth, methane is a gas produced by biological life. So, is it the same case on Mars? NASA's rovers have detected strange spikes of methane appearing and then vanishing completely. Something, or someone, is producing it. The spikes seem to follow Mars seasons, raising even more questions. Some scientists believe underground volcanic processes may be releasing the gas, while others believe this points to presence of hidden microbial life. If there is microbial life beneath the Martian soil, it could be the greatest discovery in human history. But if that's true, what happens when we land there? Wouldn't our presence be an invasion? If there is life on Mars, it most probably won't be on the surface. It'll be deep underground, where water still exists. In 2018, scientists discovered a massive underground lake near Mars' south pole. And where there's water, there's a chance for life. The lakes are salt-rich and have extreme conditions, but similar lakes on Earth support life. But if something is living down there, what happens if we interfere? Could terraforming Mars accidentally destroy an entire hidden ecosystem before we even realize it exists? We assume that life needs Earth-like conditions to survive. But what if we're wrong? What if Mars has its own ecosystem, one that evolved in ways we can't even imagine? The possibility of an alien biosphere cannot be ruled out. Life on Mars can be entirely different from life on Earth, and we might not even recognize it as life initially. The biggest threat to Martian life could be us. Even a single bacterium from Earth could wipe out whatever exists on Mars, long before we even realize it's there. Lastly, we assume that if life exists on Mars, it's harmless. But what if it's not? Some scientists fear that if Mars harbors alien microbes, they could be unlike anything we've encountered, an unknown biological threat. The Martian microbes could be toxic to humans, might be resistant to Earth's antibiotics, and can mutate in unexpected ways. Mars is a world untouched for billions of years. By introducing Earth's bacteria, or worse, by awakening something ancient beneath its surface, we could be inviting disaster. Some argue that before we build a new world, we must fix the one we already have. Climate change, resource depletion, mass extinctions. Earth is in crisis. Billions of dollars are being spent on Mars exploration. But should that money be used to save our own planet first? Mars may be our future, but Earth is our present. If we can't fix what we've broken here, what makes us think we'll succeed on an even more hostile planet? But Mars is more than an escape plan. It's a test, a proving ground for our ability to become an interplanetary species. If we can survive on Mars, we can survive anywhere. And that means we are no longer bound to one planet, but to an entire galaxy. Conquering Mars will prepare us for deeper space exploration, toward Europa, Titan, and beyond. This experiment could also unlock breakthroughs in technology, energy, and human adaptation. Every great civilization in history has expanded beyond its borders. Now our borders are the stars. Mars isn't just a new home. It's the first step toward a future where we are no longer Earthlings, but explorers of the cosmos. So, the final dilemma is, do we have the right to terraform Mars? Do we have the right to change an entire planet? If Mars is lifeless, then perhaps it is ours to shape. But if we ever find even the smallest trace of life, does that life deserve to keep its home? If life exists, are we destroying it by colonizing Mars? Would Martian microbes have the same right to exist as humans? Are we acting as explorers or conquerors? Will history remember us as pioneers, or as invaders of a world that was never meant to be ours? Mars is the ultimate frontier, the greatest challenge in human history, a dream of the future, but also a mirror reflecting the choices we make today. So, should we go to Mars? Should we take the risk? Should we leave our home in search of a new one? Or is the greatest adventure of all is actually learning how to save the world we already have? In the end, Mars is not just a planet. It is a test of our technology, a test of our survival, a test of our ability to look beyond ourselves and plan for a future that will outlive us all. And maybe, just maybe, it is the next step in our evolution. The decision isn't up to Mars. It's up to us. Let us know in the comments below. Should we risk it all for Mars? Or is Earth the only home we'll ever need? If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Till next time, goodbye.